Hello there, my name's Kyle Calvert. I'm going to be analyzing this scene from The Silence of the Lambs. Personally, I thought this was a great movie. It really interested me. I'd heard of it, but I had never seen it before. And I'd heard of obviously Hannibal Lecter, and um, I guess I was always kind of curious what kind of a character he was, but I had no clue um, just how intense he would be. So overall, I really was happy to get the chance to watch this film because it was fascinating, kind of terrifying, and I don't know, I just personally loved it. So, yeah, without further ado, I'll get into analyzing this scene here. This is when Clarice meets up with Hannibal, and it's kind of her last chance to ask him about um, who Buffalo Bill is and try and solve that case. Um, and there are a lot of interesting little things that you can see in this scene that really paint the mood and really paint what's going on. So let's jump right into that. Let me play here.
Good evening, Clarice.
I thought you might like your drawings back, Doctor. Just until you get your view.
How very thoughtful.
So this part was interesting to me. It really reinforces the idea of appropriateness amongst characters. Um, Hannibal is unfazed and almost intimidating, um, not turning from his book to look at Clarice. And what I found most interesting was Clarice is obviously a trainee, an FBI trainee, um, and since their first meeting until now, she seems just as nervous to talk to him, even though she's gotten to know him pretty well. Um, just the way she's looking at him right now, and the way that she talked to him going into the scene, the way she nervously set down his drawings, um, just fits her character profile since the first time we met her. So I thought that was really interesting. Not to mention the different elements in this scene. We'll talk more about the mise en scène in this scene as we go forward, so let's keep rolling.
Or did Jack Crawford send you for one last wheedle before you're both booted off the case?
No, I came because I wanted to.
People will say we're in love.
So I guess I missed it right there. The look that Hannibal is giving her just looks intimidating, crazy, psychotic. His look, he's behind the bars, which is it's not a prop because the characters don't necessarily use it. I guess it'd be more of a set dressing uh, in the whole idea of mise en scène. Um, he's behind these bars. It's great placement right in front of the camera between him and Clarice, and it's obvious that he's not supposed to get out. He's in maximum security. This dude's a psychopath. You can just see it in his eyes, the way he's talking to her, stuff like that. So I thought this was a really cool scene because obviously it put the bars of the jail cell in between Hannibal and Clarice, and we got a good shot of that too. So we'll keep going with the conversation and the scene.
People will say we're in love. Anthrax Island. That was an especially nice touch, Clarice. Yours?
See, that right there was a very nervous response by Clarice. I'll see if I can find her face. Um, I don't know if I can get right back to it, but that was a really nervous response by her. Again, just going along with the appropriateness of her character. Um, she's a nervous trainee talking to a psychopath. She's brand new to this whole thing, and I would be nervous too. I think most people would. So, yeah, I thought it just both of these characters really, really fit the mold of who they're supposed to be. Um, in my blog that I did earlier on this film, I talked more about Hannibal, when it came to appropriateness. But obviously, it works with both characters. Now, another thing that you can see is the costumes, the clothes that they're both wearing. Um, Hannibal is in prison attire, and I mean, it just adds to his psychotic look, I guess. Um, and Clarice is in her usual uniform. I don't know if it's necessarily a uniform, but her work clothes. Um, she really looks kind of the same throughout the whole movie. So, but yeah, again, just kind of a combination of appropriateness and mise en scène there, with just the use of their costumes and their clothes. So we'll keep going along with this and see where it takes us. There was the nervous reaction right there.
That was good. Pity about poor Catherine, though. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock.
Your anagrams are showing, Doctor. Louis' friend. Iron sulfide, also known as fool's gold.
Oh, Clarice, your problem is you need to get more fun out of life.
You were telling me the truth back in Baltimore, sir. Please continue now.
Well, I've read the case files, have you?
So this is great because, as we know, leading up to this, Clarice really needs to get some answers out of him, and she's really starting to push now. He doesn't seem to want to budge, and that's pretty much how it's been all movie. Hannibal kind of controls the conversations. So I thought that was interesting that they kind of kept that going even till the end. Let's see here. We'll jump forward a little bit because we don't really have time to watch this whole scene. One sec. So I wanted to jump to this part of the scene where Hannibal is questioning her about why she ran away as a kid. It's kind of more of the same as far as the conversation between the two and Hannibal analyzing her and her answering his questions. But I was really interested in looking at the camera work on this scene. We'll start it
And
out.
one morning I just ran away.
Not just, Clarice. What set you off? You started at what time?
Early, still dark.
Then something woke you, didn't it?
See, now that's a great shot because you still have the jail cell bars in the shot. Again, just set dressing that adds to the mood. In the video, the camera is slowly zooming in on Hannibal's face, and he's making a real intense look. This just adds to the intensity, the drama of the scene, the importance of the scene. It's something that we've seen in all the movies that we watch, zooming in on important moments in the scene. So I thought that's really interesting when I started to notice that in this film. I'll keep going with it.
The dream? What was it?
I heard a strange noise.
What was it?
It was screaming. Some kind of screaming, like a child's voice.
What did you do?
I went downstairs, outside.
So now it starts to zoom in on Clarice. It stopped zooming in on Hannibal and more in on Clarice. So it's kind of showing a shift in the conversation, I guess. Hannibal got to the point that he was trying to make, and now it's just about Clarice getting to that same point and kind of talking herself to that point. So yeah, I thought that was something really cool in this scene. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to point out about this scene, towards the end here, is the use of music in the scene. It's really the first time that music becomes real front and center, real apparent in the scene, because it shows, it adds to the intensity and the fact that Clarice is running out of time and Hannibal really hasn't given her anything. And so the jail guards are coming to take her away, and the music starts to get more and more and more intense. And the viewers are just in suspense, waiting for him to give her some sort of answer. So let's watch this.
Okay. Let's go.
It's your turn, Doctor.
Out.
Don't his name.
Sorry, ma'am, I've got orders. Had to put you on a plane. Come on now.
Brave Clarice. You will let me know when those lambs stop screaming, won't you?
Tell me his name, Doctor.
Clarice! Your case file.
So that was just a real great shot right there. One thing I did kind of notice, it wasn't necessarily an action scene, but the use of the camera moving and kind of rotating slightly around Hannibal as he walked down the jail cell really added to the feel of the scene. One thing I did want to talk about when it came to mise-en-scène is you notice everything in the jail cell, and you notice the characters' costumes, you notice the types of lighting, the camera angle, everything in the room. The cool thing about mise-en-scène is that it tells you part of the story before anyone says a word. Um, I feel like that's really what we got out of this scene, and as well as the use of appropriateness between these two great characters that we have seen or had seen throughout the whole movie. So that is my film analysis on this scene in The Silence of the Lambs. This movie I absolutely loved, so I'm glad I got the chance to watch it. And yeah, thanks for watching.